that sense. My background is mostly in design and project management, that type of thing. So don't feel like that you have to be a very technical person to use Tableau. It's just, to me, it's that easy of a product to use.
Okay, so I said earlier, the reason I hated it when I first used it was I come from a very numerical coding background, right? I hated it because I couldn't write code against it. I have learned to, like I said, sometimes love and sometimes tolerate that fact that I can't, right? But the thing I do love about it more than anything is that people who aren't me, who don't write code for a living, can go and use it too, right? So that's actually been one of the biggest things I had to learn to love, right? The fact that I'm not writing code.
And I don't really know what it means, but they said at the Tableau conference that you can now import Python directly into it. I don't know what that means, but if that helps you.
I basically agreed to rewrite it myself. Wow. Basically when I first started using it.
That's what I mean, yeah. They don't have to go to it.
Believe me, yeah.
Anybody wants to talk color or design or anything when this is over, I will talk your head off.
Let's see.
You did?
I got it. Huzzah!
No, I don't want to.
Well, I guess.
I put them in an Excel file and make my own Excel file. I don't
I'll just
care.
have to remember that PGA board's there. So I'll kill myself.
You're talking about the loading state in yourself, yourself.
I verified through her website. I don't want to do it, but I don't. I need
Three times as much time.
Well, I need
You
you.
gotta find data.
That's how I get my CPU stuff.
I think we all do.
Yeah,
You know, but at the end of the day, like.
But you take away my
I was
data.
saying, you guys want to chat for a minute, or you want me to roll on? Oh man! But so I'll tell you guys this. If you want to continue to talk, that's cool. I totally hacked mine down. Also, I'm like an hour presenter, and I hacked it down to like 20-ish minutes. So, well, I mean,
You can't even start to set.
you guys say. I'll say. Now I can get you guys out of here in time.
You can fix that.
Yeah. You guys want me to do? Go ahead.
Go.
Right on. All right, let's do it. Okay. So my name is Jack King. Thank you guys for coming. I play roller derby. I coach roller derby. It's one of the things I really enjoy. I used to work at the university, and through some downsizing, no longer do that. And now I label myself as a data journalist because I have a blog, and that's what you need these days. So I also run a couple of Reddits, including our data sets. It's super cool. You should all subscribe to our data sets. Why am I here? I didn't have anything better to do tonight. No, I really know. I love data. I love scraping data. I love public data. I think that we as a community could do good things, capital G, good things for Lexington with data. And I think the people that can do that are in this room. And I try to do that through every viz, make things a little bit better. So that's kind of what I do. And that brings us to what I typically work on. I did not design the graph to the left. I found it on graphjam.com. What I typically work on are, I do a lot of personal quantified self things as far as like measuring how many access points I connect to, or how much weight I've lost over the last year, or how different things affect other things in my personal life. But aside from that, the next highest thing I work on is local data. I've done 66 projects published to Tableau. All of my stuff that you're going to see is Tableau public, by the way. So all public. 66 projects I've published. Not all are necessarily visible on my projects page. Some are updated versions of older versions, and I just haven't killed the old one yet. But I've used Tableau for a couple of years, and I have designed hundreds of workbooks. So I started what I'm working on now, what I call 1 year of Viz, from watching YouTuber Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat is one of the most subscribed YouTubers. He publishes a video, well, he had a series where he was publishing a video every single day for over a year and a half. He published his first video on YouTube in February 2010. Since then, he has accumulated 1,379,806,623 views as of 1 p.m. yesterday. 625 of his 722 videos were published since January 1st of 2015. So he published 625 videos in 2 years. And I was like, man, he is cranking out quality videos every day. Sick or well, hurt, he broke his arm at one point. He's making a video. And I was like, if he can do that, I can do something. So I sat down and I was like, I don't want to make a viz a day. So I was like, I'll make one every single week. Hell or high water, a viz a week. Something different every week. And so I started working on it because I had all these workbooks, and one of the things is, like perfect is the enemy of done, right? Perfect is the enemy of finished. So I was like, start publishing. And that's when my cat comes along and decides that, no, he wants to sleep on me while I'm trying to viz all day. So it's my old cat. He likes to snuggle. But why Tableau? I don't really need to sell too many of you guys on Tableau. The big thing, I think Baron touched on, we're designed to see visual differences. And I think that's the key thing. That's what makes Tableau different than looking at a spreadsheet. You are biologically designed to see changes in the way a line moves, right? You don't see a change in a stack of numbers on a spreadsheet, right? Like, you just can't visually pick that up. But you can if you make it different colors, or you create a line out of it. So some of the big things that we'll talk about, talk about familiarity with SQL and Excel queries. That helps if you want to get into Tableau, if you're not into the guts of it yet, but it's not necessary. But Tableau Public, if you want to do the kind of stuff that I'm going to talk about, now supports nightly updates from Google Drive. So if you put something into a Google Sheet, it is live data on Tableau Public. It's the bee's knees game. That web data connectors, if you're familiar with APIs, which I am not terribly, but I am more than happy to use other people's web data connectors to get data out of things. I'll show you some examples of that. Sorry if I'm talking fast, I'm trying to plow through it all. And of course, again, I don't have to sell most of you on this, very scalable. The largest data set I think I've used, I had a data set of several million rows of every single nonprofit in the United States, like located in the United States, but it went worldwide. So it was millions of rows. It was crazy big. I couldn't open it in anything to verify the data except Tableau. Not, Excel would crash, wouldn't even load into Google Sheets, nothing like text editors, nothing I could find would even open except Tableau. So Tableau Public does lack some things. A non-public saving option, they get you on that. That's why they got Tableau Professional, and they want you to pay for it. For those of you that are big on Tableau, there is no pause button to pause your processing. So if you're dragging around and moving a lot of things in Tableau, Public doesn't have a way to say, oh, I'm going to make 5 changes and then process them. That can be a pain. Of course, actual database connections, that's the other big plus to Tableau Desktop over Tableau Public. And I ran into this gem the other day, the occasional glitch where the complete connection to Tableau Public is lost. And if you can't save locally and you can't save to public, you can't save. That sucked. Because I used to be a sysadmin. And so, the mantra of save early, saved often, I failed in that. All right. So I usually categorize data in 3 different sections: readily available, already formatted; readily available, not formatted, not available yet. What is readily available and already formatted? That is the holy grail. That is data that you can just download in a CSV, and it's there, and you don't have to touch it. You don't have to do any sort of string changes or changes to any of the queries. It just loads, and you get to make beautiful things with it. This is the rarest type of data, like a rare bird. By the way, at the end of the presentation, I have a QR code. I also have some shortened links. Everything on this is clickable and goes straight to these data sources. I'll have data, I have zillions more in here, so buckle up. The next is the most frequent type of data source, readily available, not already formatted. That is data that you're going to find, like, I didn't include them in here, I should have, I don't know, I didn't put this, but things like product sites. Like, let's say you want to know, I like ThinkGeek, it's a site for geeky toys. I regularly scrape ThinkGeek. Does it come out clean? Oh no, the opposite of clean. It comes out a hot mess. But, you know, I can manipulate that data to ultimately get the information I want. What's the biggest dollar value sale going? What's the largest percentage sale for dollar value going? So I do that. Other examples of data that is not quite the way you want it. I recently scraped West Virginia state salaries. I'm originally from West Virginia, and that data I do hand scrape, as in copy paste tens of thousands of pages by hand. And it took days and days of work. It took about 1 to 2 hours per year, and I scraped 8 years worth. So sometimes you got to be dedicated to the cause. And then, like I said, I play roller derby and I coach roller derby, flat track stats data. That is just a dumpster fire. It's really a mess in there. So I had to do quite a bit of cleanup when I did manipulation of that. And then, of course, the data that isn't here yet. This is the magical data that doesn't exist. Things I'll tell you. If you're interested in property values in Fayette County, good luck. I was really hoping we'd have some city employees here. I have done everything. I have met with the PDA. I've done everything but beg, borrow, and steal. And that data isn't getting out. It's just not. Incarceration statistics, strangely enough, I actually do have a scrape of all jail statistics from around 2007 that a friend of mine did as part of a research project, but there's no sort of running tab of statistics. I mean, you guys can read all these. I'm not going to read all these to you, but the idea is, if you don't have the data, you may have to do something like an open records request, or in some instances, I've designed a form or a survey. You know, if this data doesn't exist and you have access and know the people who have that data, ask for it. So, for instance, I have, well, I'll show you guys in a minute. Sometimes now we get into it. I'm totally not even running super long. So, some of this data, right? So the 5 years of Lexington cycling, let's see if I can, oh, mouse is over here. Actually, you know what, I'm done. Because I've got all of this already pulled up on another tab. Get my mouse back. What's that? More cookies, I know. I knew that would be the thing we were doing. Okay, so, come on, refresh. So this data, most of these that I'm going to show you today, I've published in my blog. So this is data about Lexington pedestrian it's collision data for Lexington, Kentucky, Fayette County. And these are all collisions all car collisions since July of 2010, right? Every time a police officer went to a car that was in a collision, this is it, right? All mapped. And so we can get things out of this, like for instance, I find it really interesting to look at pedestrians. Oops. Let's look at, so pedestrian is part of the accident report field. So I wrote a little thing to say, okay, if report field contains pedestrian in, right? Made a little set. Pedestrian. So here's every pedestrian incident, along with date of collision, hour of collision, right? So when are people walking around? Well, they're walking around between, 3 to 6 p.m. Now, interestingly enough, if we look, there's quite a spike in pedestrian accidents on Thursday. What happens Thursday?
Everybody starts drinking.
Thursday Night Live happens Thursday. So I've got this set so that if we click on Thursday, it'll actually reformat this data, and we see